Hello everyone, welcome to next section of our video. So in this section I'll tell you specifically about the relative layout and the elements which are used in activity main.xml file for our quiz app and how those are integrated with our main activity files. So we'll just see, since we have already understood now by what is the relative layout and in which scenarios a relative layout is used, what are the different properties and its parameters a relative layout has. So we'll just go into a little detail about this and understand our app better and understand the main file, the layout file which is used in our app. So as we have already known that this is the main activity file. This is the layout folder. Layout basically exists in layout folder. This is our main file, layout file, which is used in our app. And by now I have already explained you about this different elements which are used in this, and as you can see in the top, this is using a relative layout. So let's see make some changes to our app and see how this relative layout can be used in different ways. So suppose here we have put the answer button to the bottom of the screen. So if we want to place it in the center of the screen, so for that we have to use this kind of layout. So this I have already told you in my previous video, so I'll not repeat it again. So you can see our screen has a basic view group, which is obviously called a relative layout, and all our views like the image view for the background. So this is the background which you can see, the white background. This is this has a image view for the background. The text view, as you can see, where we will be basically populating our answers, and the button are positioned inside this layout, and these are relative to each other. So that's what a relative layout is used. So you can see the relative layout basically takes the entire height and width of the screen, which means everything on the screen is placed relative to the edges of the relative layout or the screen edges, like in our apps case what we are doing this. So there are other kinds of layout containers or view groups also, and they are called so because they can hold other types of views inside them, and commonly used types is called the linear layout, which allows us to arrange the child view in either a horizontal or a vertical linear fashion that we have already discussed. But that only suffice only some particular requirement. This will not suffice the requirement in your apps case, because you already have a button, then you have to place a text view which will be relative to this button. So on click of that button, that answer levels will populate. So for in our case we have to use a relative layout. So our text views that shows the answer is currently placed in center of the relative layout. So this you can see, the text view is basically placed in center of this relative layout, but because of some restriction with the relative layout we can explicitly control it, and so instead we are going to wrap a text view inside a layout, and which gives us a better control of how I want it. So this is how it is done. So I'll just go to the text view and show you the different parameters which we are using. So I believe we have already discussed this, or what a layout: width, height, horizontal, vertical, color, gravity, text color, everything. All this you can change and see what different effects it's make to your app. We have already changed the button name. Now we'll see how and where this IDs are basically used in our activity file, because this is a layout. In layout means it's only a design, but this design has to be integrated in your activity file, so that on click of this the activity should understand what I need to perform. So this text view and this button one will just go to the main activity.java file and see where exactly it's used. So as we have already seen, this is the answer level which will be populating. So this is getting the ID, find view by ID, from the text view 1. So whatever you write in your activity file over here in this text view 1, that is basically over here, whatever answers comes up, that will be populated in the answer level. So this is the understanding why we are using a text view. So id is basically, if you change the id over here, so it will not understand, the code will not understand. So id is very important when you write your layout file, and you have to mention the same id in your activity file. So here I have mentioned the id as text view 1, and so I have populated over here. So if I do it as a text view only and don't go far, so it doesn't recognizes what is a text view, because in our layout file we have mentioned it as a text view 1. So I'll do it, and it understood this one. Same for the button. So button, it identified by its id. So r.id, that is basically r is a resource dot id dot button 1. So it will take the id again from the button here. So button 1 is the id for the button. So this is how it is integrated in our main activity.java file, and our main activity understands what exactly it has to do with the layout file. So this is the integration we are doing with our activity file and the main activity of a Java file. So this is understanding how we are doing for this app. So basically I'll discuss about some more layouts which are not used in our app, but you need maybe when you develop some advanced app you may require those. So I'll give a brief explanation of all those layout, and then we'll go ahead and execute our app and see how our app runs and what all different options it populates. So thank you, and let's see you in the next section.